We are potting. How about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Real quick, if you're not a member of that site, you're absolutely missing out. Right now, we have a special, giving it away for free, basically. Actually, we'll take 100 pennies from you. $1 for the first month. Go check us out. Fall camp's getting underway. Recruiting is still full bore. And we're doing our best to keep you informed the best at Auburn Live on 3. Got a lot to talk about today, folks. A lot. We're going to look back over Big Cat real quick, then look ahead. And help me do it all, Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Jhead. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you, brother?
Well, let's do a quick little recap. Now, this show is a weekly show. We usually record on Wednesday or Thursday, whichever one's most convenient for us. And we haven't talked to you guys since. We did the call-in show on Sunday, but if you just listen to this show, you won't have any idea that Auburn picked up a commitment on Saturday from Perry Thompson, the 5-star wide receiver. They flipped from Alabama. Also picked up 4-star wide receiver Malcolm Simmons, an in-state really good athlete from Alexander City. Benjamin Russell High School. Used to be an Auburn pipeline. Used to be loaded. Michael Goggins, El Toro Freeman. Oh, man, those were some good old boys.
Preach, Jeffrey, preach.
Real quick, guys, give me 30, 60 seconds on your thoughts on the Big Cat weekend. It's kind of simmered down now. We still got some stuff to do. We still got some commitments coming. But as it stands today, which is Thursday, August the 3rd, your thoughts, Jhead, on the Big Cat weekend, the success it had.
Unprecedented territory outside of the absolute first Big Cat.
Absolutely.
It was exciting from start to finish. Obviously, it starts with DeMarcus Riddick and that commitment, and the excitement just carried over into that day. And Auburn wanted to make a splash, and they did. We talked about the number of commitments that they wanted to land coming out of that day. We said the number was 2, or my number was 2. I think Cole's was 3. And they ended up coming out of 3 in the weekend. So Cole was not wrong in his prediction either. Dylan Cinda just didn't happen to attend Big Cat weekend.
I was counting him, Jay.
I know you were. I knew you were, Big Daddy. But, look, the job that you guys did chronicling things from start to finish, the excitement, how fresh it was. Look, there are 2 words that are associated that you want associated with your recruiting. It's hope and faith, okay? Hugh Freeze has given the fan base hope and faith now that he knows how to close in those pivotal moments by flipping a la Perry Thompson, which is a 5-star alpha dog wide receiver that you absolutely had to have in this class. And now my time is up. I'm going to pass the baton here to my good friend, Cole Pinkston.
Real quick before we get to Cole, hope and faith, right?
Hope and faith.
Did you watch Days of Our Lives back in the day?
You know what? I did when my mom was watching it back in the day.
Yeah. I think those were the 2 chicks on there, right? Hope and faith. Hell, I was 10 years old. Trust me, I remember that. Hey! All right, Cole Pinkston, what you think about Big Cat, big dog?
Man, I set the over under at 3.5 commits, and depending on how you look at it, we were talking about that day, and that was the under. Took the under with 2, but you got over a hump, man, that Auburn had to get over, and it was honestly though, for Hugh Freeze, it wasn't. He's done that before. That's not his first rodeo getting a guy like Perry Thompson or Malcolm Simmons. So not new for him, kind of new for Auburn, at least in this age, the newer age of recruiting. It was sort of new. A lot of Auburn fans hadn't felt that way in a long time. I think the emotions were high. The emotions are still running high to the point where you're almost spoiled. Like, where's the next commitment? Why hadn't another one happened yet?
Sure.
It's just how it goes, okay? It's going to be ebbs and flows. But, look, Auburn's pretty high on the mountain right now as far as it goes with recruiting success early on in this class. And I say early on. I know it feels like signing day.
Jeez Louise.
It certainly is not, okay? We got a whole season to go here, guys. So I don't think you could have even predicted or imagined that Auburn would be in this place right now going into the season. We wouldn't have at all.
No.
We would have said there's no way they get guys like that until they get on the field. All right? People clown us for saying that. It's fine. I get it. It's totally fine. But it's just been the reality of Auburn football recruiting for a while. And Hugh Freeze, he flipped the script on that.
Flipping the script. I'm going to give you my 60-second synopsis, but I'm going to make Jessica pay for it. I'm going to make her pay for it. I do not give it away for free. At least my intel. Hey! Looking for a house in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, folks. Listen, she is the one. Not just my wife, but she's fantastic, dude. Sometimes I have to tell her, stop. Quit working. Come be with me for a minute or 3. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. Give her a call, man. She is a 5-star realtor. We promise. Stand aside her. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. A lot of people have already called her, man. They've been using her. And I know she's grateful, and I am too. All right. My synopsis of Big Cat.
Drum roll, please.
I am with Jhead. That was the most successful Big Cat since 2009. I don't think anything will ever beat 2009. So that was the greatest one that I've seen since that 2009 for so many different reasons. I mean, we haven't even mentioned like getting in with these 2026 kids, making huge strides with 2025s, and then to flip a 5-star commitment from Alabama in-state kid. Something that I've never seen done. Again, I know they flipped Brent Callaway. I don't think he was a 5-star at that point. Either way, I'm not counting. Yeah, I think at one point he was a 5 somewhere. But either way, first for me. And then, you've got DeMarcus Riddick there. You've got all your commitments coming in from all over the country there. You're presumably, locking in a kid, an offensive lineman from California. You've got parents coming up for recruits who couldn't be there. TJ Lindsey's parents. So there was so much positive out of that day. And it was really fun for Cole and I to be there, to cover it, to see these kids, to see their parents, and just to see the excitement there on the Plains. I was very impressed with his coaching staff. And I think Auburn's not done, obviously, from Big Cat. You've got KJ Bolden, the 5-star defensive back, announcing Saturday. You've got Jalewis Solomon, the 4-star cornerback, announcing Saturday. You've got DeAndre Carter, should be announcing in the next 4 or 5 days at the most. Well, we think TJ Lindsey's pretty close to making a decision, the 4-star defensive lineman from Arkansas, who's now at IMG. And listen, let's don't forget about Caleb Falk. J.J. Falk's announcing the 21st. I think somebody else is announcing the 23rd. I can't remember who it was. Might have been another.
Zaquan Patterson.
Oh, yes. I forgot about Zaquan. I always forget about him. Keith had an update on him. Zaquan was going to announce. Yep. And he's announcing in August. But the big story here, guys, and that every Auburn fan, last week it was DeMarcus Riddick, then it was Perry Thompson. Now it's KJ Bolden. It just never stops. KJ Bolden will announce 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, which will be about 3.5 hours after Jalewis Solomon, who will announce between Auburn and South Carolina. I think everybody's kind of taking a stance on South Carolina is going to be tough to beat for Solomon. I'm actually going to put in a prediction either tonight or in the morning of him to South Carolina. I know Auburn's been working him hard. Wesley McGriff's been on him, but you have to remember this kid. South Carolina's been on him for a while. Auburn's kind of new to the game. I mean, relatively speaking. So I think this is not going to be over with Solomon, but and nothing is, obviously. I'm speaking obvious points here, but Saturday, I'm not going to rush to get home because Solomon's announcing at 3:30.
No. And I've said this on the board multiple times. I think we all feel comfortable. I think this is what we've talked about in the pre-show and in our group chat, that he is leaning South Carolina. But Auburn still has an official visit with Solomon left. South Carolina has utilized theirs at the front end of June. South Georgia, where he's from there in Sly County, is a heck of a lot closer to Auburn than it is to Columbia. So do not think it is out of the realm of possibility for him to take an official visit either during the season or in December. And if I'm Auburn, I'm playing it closer to December. I want to keep that kid interested as long as I can. Wes McGriff is a fantastic recruiter. I know he knows how to play this the right way. And then just like last year's signing day in December, you make the flip when you've got to. It's a long play just like K and Lee. You absolutely want to stay in the game, keep him interested, utilize that proof of concept on the field and that recruiting relationship specifically also leveraging kind of the family dynamic with his brother. You know, having the opportunity to play with your sibling is a big thing to me anyway, and I'm sure it is to that young man as well. So I think that will come into play somewhat, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But yes, I'm with you, Jay Lee. My intel points to South Carolina as of now. Now, look, I hope to be surprised. I would love to see that, but I don't expect that at this time.
I don't either. You know what? You know, Cole, we were talking about, and listen, I've been surprised by this. I didn't think we were talking about this months ago. Remember, Cole and I were debating: does it come first in the living room or on the field?
Yeah.
And Cole was on the field, and I was like, man, you know, you got to do well. And then Cam Coleman came along. I thought, man, you know what? It's going to take some. So to see Auburn flipping 5 stars from Georgia and flipping 5 stars from Alabama without having even started fall camp yet, these dudes are a lot better recruiters. And this NIL is this NIL is locked in. These guys are all on the same page. To have that kind of success before you even take the field in the fall, man, you've got a lot of things going in the right direction. I mean, a lot.
I'll tell you what, that's on me because I didn't trust NIL. I didn't trust On the Victory. I didn't trust the staff.
No reason to at that point.
No, I didn't.
You got a bunch of first-year guys on the staff.
Yes.
I mean, think about how many first-year SEC coaches you've got here. I'll give Jake Thornton, what's he been, a year at Ole Miss?
2 years, I think.
And he's what, 29?
Yes, 29.
Yeah.
Aldridge's first year, Garrett's first year, Marcus Davis' first year, Ben Agamaya's first year. The only veterans you've got really, and Zach's what, 32? Zach Etheridge?
Zach's got 3 years coaching in the SEC. Yeah. Cornell's only got 5. Okay.
You got Wesley McGriff.
Wesley McGriff, and that's really it. Those are your veteran recruiters.
Yeah.
Phillip Montgomery's never been here. Ron Roberts has never been here.
Right. Phillip Montgomery's got, he's got skins on the wall in the Big 12, but the Big 12 is not the SEC. Now it's Power 5, and then Ron Roberts largely has spent his career at the Division II and FCS level until being, brought up to Louisiana Lafayette by Billy Napier and then on to Baylor with Dave Aranda for 2 years.
Sorry, Jhead.
No, go ahead.
And now, Jeffrey, goes to, does what you do on the field hurt or help you now? If you don't have the season that maybe, the coaching staff is expecting to win 7, 8, 9 games or maybe more than that, does it hurt you? I mean, that's kind of my question now, and I'm looking at that. I'm looking forward to that now. Let's see what happens.
So Josh Newberg posted a question to me. I'll post it to you. Is there a number? Cole, this is perfect. Is there a number Auburn has to get to? I said 7. I said winning season, winning regular season. I said for it not to hurt you in recruiting. And I said more importantly to me is going to be the losses and how you lost. Are you getting blown out 38-3 by Georgia? Are you getting blown out 45-7 by Alabama? Or are you in the game? Are you competitive? Are you playing with fire and heart and passion? Are you showing signs of improvement? Are you getting better each week? Are you looking at this team and going, man, we're a couple of players away from being pretty good?
Well, it's hard to believe, but this is true. There is bad news to good recruiting. The bad news is expectations get higher.
Sure.
That's tough to deal with sometimes, especially if it's your first year and you don't know what you got. I mean, Freeze said in the press conference today, this is the most anxious I've ever been going into a fall camp.
I was surprised by that.
He's like, I got so many new faces here, and I just, you got so little time to get it all together. That's understandable, but a lot of people are in that boat right now. It's not just Auburn.
Yeah.
I think I'm surprised about his honesty. That was awesome to see. Hey, man, yeah. I'm freaking out.
He can't help it. Like, he's just honest by default. It's just how he is. But when you have all this good recruiting and everybody's excited about all these new transfer portal guys and everything, well, now people are going, you can see a shift where everybody was saying, 7, that's the ceiling. Now people are going, ooh, I don't know, maybe 8, maybe 9.
Hey, including me.
Bottom line here is you have got to beat people who you are perceived to be more talented than. That's the bottom line, right? So looking at the schedule, I would say that Auburn's roster right now, with the additions from the transfer portal and the new guys, It's probably better than it's better than Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than California. If it's not better than Ole Miss, it's close. And I think it probably is. Arkansas. Okay, pretty much everybody but Texas A&M, LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Really, those are the 4 rosters I think are probably more talented all the way through right now than Auburn's. So now that people see, experts see, media sees that Auburn's on the same page with pretty much everybody on their schedule except for those 4, you better find a way to win those games. I hate to say it that way, but
to me, you've got 5 wins on this schedule. You've got your 4 non-conference and Vanderbilt. Those are wins to me all day long. And then it's, you're good. And then it's, something I don't, Cole?
Yeah. You got me. You got the private.
I can only imagine. But you got 5 wins on the schedule, and then you've got 4 that could be toss-ups. You've got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. I honestly believe that those are all toss-up games that could go either which way. Now, obviously, LSU, Georgia, Alabama, those are superior rosters. We don't, and realistically, A&M's probably a superior roster, but I don't trust the coaching there, and I don't trust the culture there. I'm going to be completely honest on that.
I was speaking specifically on roster talent, but no, I'm with you there. I think that was more of a toss-up, really.
I've seen Hugh Freeze win games with lesser talented players. Hell, I watched it last year when Liberty went into Fayetteville and beat Arkansas with a 3rd-string backup quarterback. Okay, so I've seen him be able to outperform his talent level or, coach above his head. I'm going to be honest with you. Other than Jimbo upsetting Alabama with Zach Calzada at quarterback, I've never seen him coach over his head. He's always coached to his talent level or maybe even beneath it. And, look, we all know how I feel about Jimbo Fisher, so let's not get off on that rant. But it really boils down to me, it's, Jeffrey, the threshold to not hurting yourself is 6-6. That's the threshold to me. Can you get to 6-6 in a bowl game? And I don't think you're going to lose anybody in recruiting. Beneath 6-6, you go 5-7 or 4-8. Yeah, I think you might lose some people out of this class. I think you become susceptible to negative recruiting. And that can absolutely hurt you. So 6-6 is the barometer for me. If you're that or better, I think you keep this class intact and you add some pieces. You're less than that, yeah, you're going to be heavy in the transfer portal trying to compensate for some losses.
You're definitely going to be battling.
Yep.
To keep guys.
Yes.
And it's not going to be as easy to flip guys. You win 7 or 8, and like I said, those losses aren't embarrassments.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. Auburn sits at number 15 right now in the country, their class, according to On3 Team Rankings, number 15. Listen, I don't expect this class to fall below that.
No. And that's where I was going to go with you. 6-6, this class is 15. This is a top 15 type class. You go 7-5 or 8-4, now we're talking in the top 10 range. You go 9-3, all right, you've got that kind of momentum going into National Signing Day. Watch out. You may be creeping up on a top 5 type situation. So we'll see. But I think 7-5 is the proper schedule. It's the proper prediction for this season. I think 7-5, 8-5 with a bowl victory is how this team is going to shake out. That's just my honest gut reaction to it.
Zach and the Mac makes a good point, and I've compared my expectations for Hugh Freeze at Auburn are very similar to what Heupel did at Tennessee, and even Zach says Kirby Smart went 7-5 with a loss to Vanderbilt in his first year at Georgia. Then he went on to win a bowl game, 8-5. I think that's a great year for Auburn this year, 8-5.
Yes, I agree.
Fantastic. You're building. Now, Kirby wasn't doing that. Here's my problem with this team and this program right now is you've gone out into the rec yard or, down to the Y, and you're picking teams, right? All right. Yeah. I'm going to give me that guy, give me that guy, give me that guy. And now, all right, let's play a game. You have no gel, no team chemistry right now. It's going to be tough.
Yes.
That's why I think Auburn's schedule is pretty favorable considering the first 3 opponents should – and I'm throwing Cal in there because Jhead is. I don't know anything about Cal. I know they had a good quarterback here not too long ago, the blonde-headed kid. Or
Jared Goff.
There you go. Yeah. That's all I know about Cal.
We'll have a good quarterback here and there. Cal will. But
I'm guessing that's a win for Auburn. I don't know.
Well, I think it's going to be harder than some think for the reasons you just mentioned, Jeffrey. You've got a lot, you've got the island of misfit toys right now, right?
Yeah.
Guys that are cast-offs or
got a hodgepodge.
Moving up from G5 or FCS, getting their first taste of Power 5 football right now. And cohesion is a big part of what you do. Now, the great thing is, from an offensive standpoint, Hugh Freeze's system and Phillip Montgomery's system has been pretty easy to pick up from a terminology standpoint. I think the option routes at the receiver position can give some guys difficulties as far as picking that aspect of it up. But the overall terminology and understanding of the offense, guys can play fast, and it's pretty easy to pick up. I don't know as much about Ron Roberts' defense, but I do think that Cal game is going to be ugly. I think we're going to win because we're a more talented team, but I think we're going to have to win ugly in that game. But that gives you 3 games to iron out the kinks before you go to A&M, and really not showing a whole lot either. So that's why I think A&M is vulnerable right there, because we will have not tipped our hand to that point, and everything that we will have done will be crescendoing into that moment. I guarantee you Hugh Freeze will be holding something out of the game plan on purpose to catch Jimbo flat-footed.
Speaking of roster improvement, Auburn added Dylan Senda, another 2023 offensive lineman to the class. He signed with Northwestern. Their coach got fired. He asked out. They said, okay. He said, I want in at Auburn. They said, come on. So he is in Auburn. In addition to the 2023 class, another high school kid. The upcoming KJ Bolden is basically the talk of the week, man. Nationally, regionally, everybody wants to know what KJ Bolden does. And somebody on the corner said, man, if somebody, I think it might have been inside, not an insider. Dude, if somebody acts like they know what he's going to do, they don't.
No,
I don't think anybody knows. I mean, the media that's shooting it, he's shooting it at On 3. I don't think anybody at On 3 knows. I don't think anybody's going to know until he announces his commitment. And I will say this, man, I've been on Newberg's show, was on Keegan Polk too, and I was like, man, here's how I feel today, but ask me tomorrow, dude. And literally Sunday night, I would have said Auburn. Monday morning, mid-morning, after I put up my hot board, of course, I think 50-50 is good. I think I've got Auburn 50-50 for KJ Bolden. I think that's okay right now. Because, but anyways, it was Sunday Auburn, Monday afternoon, mid-morning, FSU. Tuesday, I started hearing Auburn. No, it's Florida State. And now all you hear is, here comes Georgia.
Yeah.
As I said today, Ohio State thinks it's Florida State and Ohio State. Georgia thinks it's Georgia and Auburn. Florida State thinks it's Florida State and Auburn. I think it's Auburn and Florida State. The one constant throughout all of that, sans Ohio State, is Auburn.
Yeah.
Another thing to consider with him, Jaden Perlotti.
Yes.
Top 100 linebacker who came to Big Cat and said, man, I got a surprise coming. And then 2 days later says, I'm going where KJ going. Now, you can't read into what these recruits say. Like, you can't. I mean, you really can't.
No, you can't. The only thing that I would read into is the fact that Hayes Fawcett put out that tweet that says, and I quote, KJ told him that Auburn was in his top 2. He didn't list who the other team was. And I do put stock into the fact that Auburn's in the top 2. Now, do they close? I don't know. And I think that other team has changed. I would have agreed with you, Jeffrey, on Monday. Everything I was told is Florida State and Auburn. Today, I would tell you UGA is absolutely in this. And if I were betting right now, my gut defaults to UGA winning this recruitment. Now, I don't think it's over by any means. And I do think Auburn can still pull this off because today's not the day. And I don't know that the kid's made a decision just yet. I do not know if he's informed anybody of any decision that's been made. But I've always thought that UGA was going to do what it took to keep an in-state talent at home. Now, look, Hugh Freeze has surprised me before. And look, Frederick 90 stuffed me in a locker with the Perry Thompson deal. 100%. Give that man a hat tip on that one, because I was a little bit squeamish about going with what I was hearing there. So I'm going to be that guy again and be a little squeamish on this one, and I'm going to default to UGA as of right now. If I hear anything different, I will absolutely put it out there. But right now, today, my gut makes me think Georgia.
Well, I've made sure in every single update that I put on the board that I leave a door open for Georgia every time.
Yeah.
Every single time I do. And I have. Going into Big Cat, I know what the buzz is. I know what the buzz was. I'm hearing it just like you are. I'm not going to say I don't care. I take it into account. But I know that Georgia's been in this for a very long time. And in my opinion, in my mind, if Georgia does not want to lose KJ Bolden, it will not lose KJ Bolden. That is where I stand on it as of today. I've made sure to say that, I have a rule, basically. No matter what the update is, no matter what the sources are saying, do not count Georgia out of this one.
Yeah.
That's been my rule.
Are y'all aware that Buford is to Georgia as Central Phoenix City is to Auburn?
I am. I absolutely am, and that's –
Is it, though? Because how many guys have they, truly targeted like KJ Bolden right now?
Two last cycle. Yeah, two last cycle, and one of those was, a Georgia legacy, if I remember correctly, the running back that signed with Alabama.
Haynes, yeah.
Yes.
So that's the one that I went back and looked at Buford's, players over the past couple of years, and Haynes was, they put, a lot into that one and didn't get him. So there's one. As far as some other guys, Jake Pope was the guy that went to Bama. I don't know how hard Georgia went after him. Paul Mabanga is the guy that ended up going to LSU. I don't know how hard they went after him. So I think the recent history shows a lot of guys not going to Georgia, but how hard were they going for him? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just, just going through it. But look, that may or may not be a thing, but Georgia's definitely in it for KJ Bolden. I think they always have, no matter what the chatter has been.
I was going to say I'm with Zach in the back here. Zach just posted in our chat. At least the Georgia fans feel this way, and I didn't know that until Cole. Is there snow on the ground behind you?
No, it's rocks.
On the other side, on your left side?
Yeah, it's rocks.
Jeffrey thinks Cole's over there tapping the Rockies, man.
It's it's like a cemetery. Oh, that's a wall. That's a concrete wall. I thought it was real foggy.
Oh, you thought that was the ground?
I thought it was really foggy in the forest back there, and there was snow on the ground. Are you in Montana?
Yeah, I'm posted up in Auburn right now because it really makes no sense for me to go home. I have to be there early again for fall camp practice, so I'm at a buddy's house.
Okay.
I think the neighbor coaches at Auburn High School. I keep seeing him walking around over there.
He's looking for Walker White for trespassing on his field.
I'm sure he is. Maybe that Jeffrey Lee who'll take
that. Aiden in the bed. Dude, I don't have any idea where that kid's going Saturday.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't have any idea if he's going to pick Auburn, Florida State, or Georgia. If he picks any of the other than those three, I'll be shocked. Alabama, Ohio State. I'm done with them.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that at all. And anything that Ohio State says there to me just means that they're not willing to concede at this point.
Well, there was an update and the Ohio State source said, we're hopeful, but we're not very hopeful, or something like that. It was right. It was basically he's not coming here.
Right. And I think that's fair. I think it is one of three schools. It is Auburn, Florida State, UGA.
Which go ahead, Jhead.
No, go ahead.
By the way, all of this that I'm saying about Georgia and we're saying about Georgia, you still can't quite count Auburn out here, I don't think.
No.
That's where I feel like Georgia is quietly making up ground and sort of taking the lead again, as they have had for who knows how long. But I can't count out Auburn. There's a lot of good things being said about Auburn. Auburn's made it happen a couple times here with Perry Thompson, DeMarcus Riddick, even Jalen Crawford. Joe Phillips. They've got some wins. Walker White. Those are some big wins, guys. They had to beat some teams that have been putting, as you say, Jhead, Auburn in a locker the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I'm not counting out Auburn. And again, the chatter about Auburn is positive. It really is. Because Auburn continues to be pretty much the main constant whenever they talk about the contenders. Whenever anybody talks about the contenders.
Well, and think about the quantum leap we've made in that particular recruitment. We weren't even in KJ Bolden's top 8.
I know it.
In what, January or February, whenever he released that?
That's wild.
Weren't even in his top 8. And now you're talking about one of 3 schools that could walk away with his commitment in August. In a, what is that, 6 months, 7-month time period to make up that much ground and to make 2 other schools that have been on him for multiple years. Because Norvell's been at Florida State now for 4 years. Kirby's been at UGA since what, 2017, 2016?
Yeah.
2016. So,
wow.
You know, they've known about this kid for a while. And look, recruiting is still a relational sport, okay? NIL, yes, it's there. There are other factors involved in recruiting, but it's still highly relational, and knowing those prospects and targeting them early is still probably the most important variable to me. And for this staff to make up that kind of ground is, I mean, it shows you what their potential is. Mm-hmm. It absolutely shows you what their potential is. And I'm with you, Jay Lee. I don't know what the kid's going to do. I'm telling you, my gut reaction right now is UGA. But that's probably just because I typically, when I don't know the answer, I default to the home state school. That's kind of my thought process, typically speaking.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
It's tough.
It is.
It's done it. Like I'm sitting there, when I want to make a nightly update on this because I hear different things every day. So
sure.
I want that to be as up to date as possible. But man, I mean, it's just coming from so many different directions. I haven't covered a recruitment like this. This is the first one for me. Jeffrey, you've been in this before. I know you have.
I either love it or I hate it because you love it because, I mean, there's nothing I can do. You're not going to get it. Just ride it out. Let's wait. Holler back at me, Saturday afternoon. Yeah. There's nothing. I don't have anything for you, man. Problem with this one is that I do have people, and I promise you, I could text 2 people right now, and they would say they're hearing Auburn. I could text 2 other people, and all of these guys are legit.
Yes.
And they would say, it's 50-50 Auburn and Georgia. I could find another one that says Florida State and Auburn. So, I mean, I just don't know what to do with that.
Right. Other than the constant being that Auburn is in the top 2.
There you go.
Let's see how it all shakes out on Saturday. And I think that's really where we can leave it. Auburn is in the top 2. I don't know who the other team is. I think it's Georgia today. I think the case could be made for Florida State.
Yeah. I almost would be interested after he commits. I'm more interested in who's number 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Who finished second?
Of course, he did
say Alabama.
He told Hayes Fawcett of On 3 that Auburn was one of his top 2.
Yes.
Now that was what, Sunday?
Right. So is he still on buzz high at that point?
That's another point that I've been wanting to drive home is there was absolutely a visit high in this to Auburn. They got the last crack at him. Hugh Freeze got to talk to him last, supposedly. I'm sure he's talked to other people, but you know what I'm saying. Then
I thought he meant like this week before you decide I want to be the last guy you talk to. That's what I thought he meant. But
definitely. I mean, yeah, he said I'm gonna talk to him again on Sunday.
Shut it off
and then shut it down. But I mean, look, they're gonna be blowing up his phone. We know how that works. It's just the visit high is gone. There's no way that visit high is still hanging around right now, in my opinion. So if Auburn's still in it, that's probably good news for Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us have a prediction for him. I don't.
No.
I don't.
No, I got a gut.
Georgia.
If you made me pick, yes, but that's not the case.
Well, if you would have made me pick, I would have had a different one almost every day this week. That's how fluid this thing is. And it's how, I don't know. Ask me Sunday night. I will have a prediction for that, and you can lock that in.
Okay.
Sunday night, lock it in. TJ Lindsey, DeAndre Carter, we're on the lookout for those 2 guys. Keep a post. We're going to go to the questions from the corner. Wrap this show up. We got some really good questions this week, and we will get started with Mr. Q1 Spirit. Q1 would be question 1. Spirit. Do we now have a better feel on how NIL actually works? As far as when does NIL get involved and how they calculate market value? Jhead, you're our NIL correspondent.
Yes, I think this coaching staff feels very good about how NIL works. Now, as far as from a recruiting perspective, coaches are not allowed, still at this point, not allowed to talk to recruits about what kind of NIL deals are available to them. Jeffrey, you broke it on the call-in show, but they absolutely pair them with a player that can talk to them about what it is that they are getting and what opportunities there are for them to market themselves at Auburn. There can be other discussions that are had with various other people. It cannot be utilized as a recruiting inducement. As far as market value goes, I think OTV has a very good grasp on the market. I would tell you that our deals are competitive and they are honest. They're not false players at OTV making promises that they can't fulfill. They don't go down that rabbit hole. There are other universities that do. And I'm not taking a shot here at anybody, but Florida's collective, obviously it's very known that they were not able to cover their bases with Jhead and Rashada in the deal that they promised him. And that all blew up very nationally. Auburn hasn't done that. They have not committed money that they absolutely cannot honor. So that is where Auburn stands as far as market value is concerned. They understand it. They have a good feel for it. They know what it takes to field a competitive team and a good recruiting class.
Good stuff. Appreciate your spirit. Eagle Warrior 17 wants to know, for the 2024 class, Cole, who has the higher ceiling, Bryce Cain or Malcolm Simmons?
Malcolm Simmons.
Ooh.
I think Malcolm Simmons has the higher ceiling because number one, he's a bigger guy. Number two, his frame, I think he weighs 180 right now, 175, but his frame could fill out to 200, no problem, right?
Agreed.
So this is a guy whose physicality, his athleticism, and that strength and power, which is something that Hugh Freeze covets in receivers. To be quite honest, he doesn't really covet guys like Bryce Cain. Just being honest on that. He had a guy like that at Liberty, Demario Douglas, but he also didn't get his first choice at everybody at Liberty either. So Malcolm Simmons is more his type of guy because his power ceiling is a lot higher. And that's what he wants. He wants a guy that can go up and win against DBs in 50-50 balls. He wants a guy that can catch the fade, the back shoulder. I think Malcolm Simmons is more of that guy. Now, Bryce Cain's obviously the speedier guy, and that can go a long way too. But my pick is Malcolm Simmons.
I like it. I think both of those guys have fantastic potential. Next year for sure. When do you think Carter and Lindsey pop? And what's the potential holdup if they don't? Jhead, you're shaking your head like you might know a little something.
I would say I lean in towards next week for Carter specifically. I think front end of next week for him. I've heard mixed things with regard to Lindsey, but I think soon. That's the word that we've all heard is sometime soon. Now, soon is relative to the commitment, the commit target and what they think. Are they waiting on a commitment graphic, a video? Are they lining up a ceremony at their school? I will say this. If it is not before the start of IMG season, it would be concerning to me. I think that they actively have their kids actively have the senior year class, the guys that are targets and active recruits for that recruiting cycle. I think they like to have them commit before the season starts so there's no distraction on the actual season in and of itself. Yeah. So I think soon, but relative to what the prospect thinks, and anytime, it could be any time before the member season.
Oh, Sam 11, where do you project this class ranking-wise come December, and what is the level we have to be attained to be a perennial competitor in the SEC? Jhead, you talked about this earlier. It likely depends on the product, the proof of concept on the field this fall.
I think it could factor into that for sure. And I want to hear Cole's thoughts here as well as yours, Jeffrey. But I do think that winning goes hand in hand with recruiting somewhat. I think in a first year, you get a pass for that. But you do have to finish with enough wins to get to a postseason play, right? Like, I don't remember seeing anybody go 3 and whatever and land a top 10 class. Like, I haven't seen that. 7 and 5, 6 and 6, 8 and 4. You've seen
Saban's first year
6 and 6
with a loss to ULM.
Yeah, with a loss to ULM,
and then he had like the number 1 class in the country, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you can do 6 and 6 and up, and you can land a top tier class, but you got to win enough. like I said, I don't remember anybody going 3-9
Yeah.
and being able with that product to have a top 10 type class. Like I've never seen it.
Not even a first-year coach.
Yeah. How did Mario finish last year at Miami? Because I know they went 5-7. And I bet they were top 10.
Yeah.
So point made. We get your point.
Yeah. So I think as the season goes, it will kind of dictate the numbers. If we're 6-6, I think we're top 15. If we're 7-5, I think we're creeping into the top 10. If you're 8-4, watch out. I think you could be creeping into the top 5.
You get to 8 wins. I think so too. You're talking about flipping guys, maybe a Cam Coleman. I think you're going to need a KJ Bolden on there. I think you're going to need a lot of top 100 guys on there. But I think it's certainly doable. I'm not putting anything past these guys, man. Rice DP 105. Will we have a commitment by the time the recruiting pod is posted on the corner? The recruiting pod should be posted on the corner. What is today? Thursday. It should be posted tonight sometime. I hope not, because I don't have anything ready.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, not unless and Hugh Freeze talked about this a little bit today. He thinks they're done, but if there's a transfer, like a grad transfer, something like that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There's that possibility if there's somebody out there like that.
Yeah.
But in this 2024 class, no, I don't anticipate that. I think Monday will probably be the earliest, unless something pops this weekend with KJ Bolden.
And unless Auburn has somebody in their back pocket, and if they go 0-2 on 0 for Saturday,
yes,
they get them to go ahead and, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Throw something out. Yeah, throw something out about 7:30 Saturday night.
Sure.
Bo-Hightower, what do y'all think the average yards per reception will be for the Hugh Freeze Phillip Montgomery offense this year? The average yards per reception. Are we throwing a bunch of bubble screens? Are we watching a bunch of down the field balls? Are we talking first down yardage here? The average reception 8 yards? Well, how about this? The over-under is 8.5. And somebody said, okay, 12.5.
I'm thinking 10 to 15 range.
Okay.
Yeah, because at its heart, both Hugh Freeze and Phillip Montgomery's offenses are vertical shot, post-snap adjustment by the wide receiver type offenses, right? Like they want to go down the field. They want to make big plays. There's also a heavy RPO overlay there to try to get some high-low game going.
All right, Frank Ricard, what date does Hugh Freeze announce the starting quarterback?
Ooh.
September 2nd?
He said today, he said the question was asked, is there a possibility for more than one quarterback to play? He said, no, we'll have a starter.
Oh.
So we know he's going to do it. When? I think he needs the entire fall camp to make that decision personally.
I'm going to call it 10 days out from the first game. I think 10 days out, he'll announce a starter.
I think, yeah. I think game week before, just to get it over with.
Yeah, leading into game week, he'll take – because, if you let that lead into game one against UMass, that quarterback competitions have a way of sucking the life out of a team. You know what I mean? You want the concentration to be on the actual product on the field and not about the quarterback competition. So I think I'm with you, Jay Lee. I think he'll do it 10 days out.
Yeah, sounds right.
TrooperTaylorsTowel, any movement on the running back board for the 24 class? Are we still pursuing Duke Watson? This is a good question. Any movement on the running back board? Nate Frazier's gone. Cole. I've been trying to get in touch with Duke Watson. He's gone silent, which leads me to believe the percentage might be dropping.
I think you're right. And him not being at Big Cat sort of said something to me too. But I've heard a little bit about Caden Durham, which is weird because he has a top 3 of Oklahoma, LSU. And, Auburn's not in it. Seems to be trending to LSU. I don't really believe Auburn's in it anymore. I thought at one time maybe. But anyway, I don't see much movement at the running back board, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think running backs that's a position you can go to the portal and get, right? And I think relatively inexpensive as well. I think because you're going to have 5 guys on scholarship next year. Do you have to have a 6? I think they'd like to. I think they'd absolutely like to take 2 guys in this class. But if it's not 2 guys they're in love with, I don't see them jamming a roster spot just to do it.
I'd say Jhead probably, when you look at the situation right now, Brian Batiste is sort of, trying to get back to healthy. Jarquez Hunter status. It's just good to have that sixth guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems to be where they're operating from, but I don't know of any new names. I don't know of any movement with the names on the board right now with running back. I just don't.
Okay. I've got some stuff going on over here. It's good news, but I don't know how to decipher stuff. But anyway, sorry. So good stuff go, I think. G. Russ, prediction for the next 2025 commit?
J.J. Falk.
J.J. Falk on August 21st?
18th, right?
21st.
Is it the 21st?
I think so.
I'm going to go J.J. Falk.
What about Jaden Perlotti?
Yeah, I think that could definitely happen, contingent on what happens with KJ Bolden. So I'm not going to predict that till I know what's going to happen with KJ. We'll leave it at that, Jeffrey.
Tyler Justice. Does Auburn play for a national championship in the next 5 years with Hugh Freeze? With Hugh Freeze.
I don't know about championship, but they better be in the playoffs if Hugh Freeze still wants to be at Auburn in 5 years, right?
Yeah, I think they'll be playoff contender for sure. They will have been in a playoff, whether they're the 12 seed or whether they're the 4 seed or the 1 seed or whatever. They will have been in a playoff at that point, which I guess is a championship contender. And that was the question, right? Like if you're in the playoff, you're a championship contender.
And for the record, I'm not that cutthroat about it. I just know how it is these days. You don't get 5 years unless you do something like that. That's just how it is, guys. I hate that too.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze knows it. He said it. Look, I got 4 years to make this work. That's where we are, and the money involved in college athletics and the pressure by fans to produce a winning product on the field.
Especially if you're recruiting the way you are right now.
Yes, because, all right, so think about Jimbo Fisher, right? He's recruited lights out at A&M. They're expecting results at A&M now because of the way he's been able to recruit. Exactly. And that's probably – if he'd have been recruiting at a – and look, this is not me trying to take a pot shot. It's going to sound that way. But at Brian Harson's level, the expectation at A&M would not be the same as it is right now with the way he's recruited.
No, he'd probably be gone by now if that were the case.
I don't know if he'd be gone. They got to eat $80 million, man.
Well, that was not the problem. You know what I mean?
I don't even know the question.
You're good, Jay. We can go to the next one.
Yeah, I do think Auburn will be playing for a national championship in 5 years. Absolutely, I do. I think it'll be in 4 years.
Or in the conversation, right?
For sure. Listen, Auburn's going to be a perennial championship contender under Hugh Freeze. And I know that just from the past week, if they can get guys to flip from 5 stars from Georgia and Alabama, Auburn will be in the championship talk annually under Hugh Freeze. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be Walker White in 3 years. I don't know if it's going to be our boy Hank Brown. I don't know. Holder. I don't know. Peyton Thorne's got 2. I think the trajectory of next year is Auburn's winning about 10. And then the next year from there on out, I really expect Auburn, depending on the quarterback situation, to be in the hunt every freaking year.
Sure. To have some dips, you're going to go backwards to 8-4.
Absolutely.
9-3.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? When you're rebuilding a team, that's what happens. And Auburn fans just have to be patient in those valleys. But other than that, I'm with you.
Listen, historically, that's what Auburn is. All right? Alabama gets to the top, they stay there, and then they tank.
Right.
Georgia gets to the top, they stay there, and then they tank. Auburn's kind of – the stocks are up and down.
Yeah.
Playing for national championship, you're 8-4. You're playing for SEC championship, you're 9-3. But you're right there every year. All right. Hey, good stuff. One more time for Miss Jessica Andrews, the 5-star realtor from the Talents Group. Y'all give her a call, man. Auburn Opelika. If you're buying or you're selling, she can do it all. Investment property also, she can find something for you to rent. There's a lot of that potential down here in Auburn. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. 5-star realtor, 334-704-4442. Give her a call. Tell her we sent you. Real quick, how about you this week, fellas?
Cole, go ahead. You're muted, Cole.
Thank you. We have so many new members. Like, I all of those guys. I'm so happy they joined us. I think you see why you needed to. You know, we got it going on over here at Auburn Live, man. I am going to go with I want one, and I want it to be Frederick 90. I think he deserves the how about you this week. I don't know if we've given him a how about you since everything went down, but hey, called your shot, big dog. You got it. How about you?
Let's go BW for me this week. I think B-Dub's had a good week. And then let's go with Charlie 5, who Cole happened to call out for putting something out on Twitter and said, come put it on our board, chicken. So Charlie 5 in good spirit came on the board and put it on there. So
what did you put on there?
That's hey. No, me and Charlie good. I
know you are. I know you are. I'm just teasing him a little bit. But no, definitely a how about you for Charlie and a how about you for BW.
What BW Dub or what was it?
Do what?
Who was the first one?
Yeah, Charlie 5.
He was the second one.
BW.
BW?
Yeah,
Man,
BW.
Okay, wow. Not like Volkswagen, but Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For me, how about you, man? Frederick 90, how about you, big dog? I mean, I feel like he's earned a how about you for the next, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Make that squared.
He is on the corner, folks. If you don't know, man, you got to go read Frederick 90 stuff. He's plugged in with some of these guys, got some really good intel. Obviously, he does. He had Perry Thompson to Auburn, I don't know when, back when I was going through puberty. I mean, that dude's been on. He's at it. And now he's got some he's got some intel on KJ Bolden. He posted today on the corner. Worth a read. Again, Auburn Live on 3 right now. You can get it for $1 for the first month. Go check us out, Auburn Live on 3. How about you to my man KO? How about you to Joey AU11? How about you to the Bruce Caboose?
Yeah.
How about you to Jyreo, who said Jhead's got that LBJ isn't the GOAT cut.
I missed that one, bro. I missed that one.
Oh, I should have sent it to you. See, hey, and finally, how about you, big dog? How about you to Eric Moss?
Yes, love connection, baby.
Love connection. Love is in the air.
Yeah.
Cabbage. He loved eating that cabbage, didn't he?
Listen now, did you see the video that they stitched?
Yes.
Watch the whole thing, man. Look. E. Moss is internationally known now. Him and his girl.
E. Moss.
For those that are just catching on here, E. Moss is a subscriber to Auburn Live on 3, loyal listener. We love him, man. Calls into the show sometimes. Him and his fiance had broken up or separated, and credited me in my recent nuptials as to he wanted to get her back. He wanted her. She cooks good cabbage. I don't eat a lot of cabbage. Like, I want to try Miss E. Moss's cabbage.
I'm with you because he had me salivating by the end of all this, the way he's describing this cabbage, man.
So he went on the Facebook and was posting the TikTok and was posting, I'm going to get her. I'm going to get her. And the thing went viral, dude. And he ended up getting her back. And last I heard, they were back together. And so good on him. He's going to lock that down. She is a 5-star too, man.
She is a 5-star. And look, I got to quote E. Moss here. He said he went in with the confidence of Cole, Jhead's haircut, and the love in his eyes from Jeffrey Lee. My man E. Moss, I think that is a how about you triple right there. Good for you, big dog. Appreciate you.
E. Moss he's one of the rare people who have joined our site from a radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he said he was listening to the Boomo Bug show one day.
Oh.
And he called me the voice of an angel because he doesn't like that show. And he's like, I was so glad to hear him come on here. I joined. And I was like, man, that was a great – I'm glad you're with us.
All right. Oh, Boomo Bug. I like those fellas.
Yeah, I do too.
But it was that same thread, Jhead, where Jyreo said, you look like the LBJ isn't the GOAT cut.
Oh, yes.
I read that a lot, 11 o'clock. It just was like, she going to wake everybody up because I was laughing, dude. That was hilarious. It was hilarious. All right, we're going to wrap it up there, folks. We appreciate everybody, man. Go check us out, Auburn Live on 3, $1. We're going to be back Sunday night for the call-in show at 6:30. Be tuned in on Saturday throughout the weekend. You don't know where some of these guys are going to pop, but we are expecting some commitments over the next 5 days, we'll say, especially before our next recruiting show next Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. Stay tuned to Auburn Live on through. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Cole, for Jhead, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee. Y'all stay out of that left lane. See ya.